A brand new monarch has stormed the pound-for-pound kingdom, and the canvas still quivers from the aftershock. One violent flurry from Ilia Topuria toppled a 600-day regime, detonated social algorithms, and split the fight world right along its fault line. Pundits swear the UFC just inflated another balloon. Believers insist they've witnessed the dawn of a once-in-a-generation predator. Strip away the noise and a single fact remains: nobody rises this fast unless there's dynamite hidden in the story. Dig past the highlight KOs and you'll find a boy who bounced between Georgian wrestling basements and sun-bleached Spanish gyms, scribbling prophetic deadlines in battered notebooks while classmates chase beach parties. Those deadlines, UFC contract by 23, belt before 27, global stardom before 30, keep landing on the nose like punches he seems to throw from nowhere. Skeptics mumble marketing miracle, yet footage of half-empty arenas in his pre-UFC days reveals a crowd already buzzing, already chanting Matador before the big leagues even noticed. Now he's here, undefeated, and armed with a finishing rate that reads like a prank on the statistics department. But how exactly did a soft-spoken polyglot vault over Dagestan's iron wall and plant his flag at the summit? The answer coils through controversy, silent feuds, and a potential stadium showdown that could yank Europe under the UFC's brightest spotlight. Every mile of that ascent explains the chaos he's provoking today. Chaos that might reshape 2 entire weight classes before the next rankings update drops. Buckle up. Each chapter peels back another layer, and the final one may force you to pick a side you weren't ready to choose. UFC 317 was penciled in as a respectable middle-tier card, good enough for diehards, forgettable for casuals. Then Dariush withdrew, Charles Oliveira raised a gloved hand, and Ilia Topuria, still smelling of featherweight gold, said, "I'll handle that." 11 turbulent days later, he marched into the co-main event looking like he'd borrowed somebody else's division. What followed felt less like combat sports and more like time-lapse demolition. First volley, a right uppercut tight as a postcard stamp slipped between Oliveira's famed high guard. Second, a whip-crack liver hook that robbed breath and balance simultaneously. Third, a short, contemptuous left that removed the former champion from consciousness at 2:41 of round 1. Topuria didn't strut or scream. Instead, he bowed, whispered a Georgian proverb, even rivers bow to mountains, and exited as if the whole spectacle had been a light spar. When Sunrise hit Vegas, the UFC's digital elves pushed the updated rankings. Topuria sat on the pound-for-pound throne. Islam Makhachev bumped down a line for the first time in almost 2 years. Social feeds melted. A 600,000+ view press conference in 12 hours versus Makhachev's 400,000 over 5 months became the meme of the morning. Ilia's Instagram, once a humble collection of seaside workouts, leapt past 10.5 million followers, edging the Dagestani by a whisper. Keyboard sleuths cried fake numbers, but the raw engagement, comments per minute, story shares, reaction spikes, looked painfully organic. Inside 15 hours, draft headlines screamed "New Era," "Algorithm Assassin," and "Dagestan Dethroned." Yet amid the flares of celebration, a darker current began swirling. Because the louder the cheers grew, the sharper the knives appeared, ready to carve holes in the narrative no matter how much tape the highlight reel played. And that backlash wasn't coming from trolls alone. Scroll through X, Reddit, or any fight fan Discord the morning after and you'd swear a geopolitical crisis had erupted over 3 rounds of violence. One camp chanted, "Finally, the stranglehold is broken." Another frothed, "Casuals are killing the sport." Alleged analytics gurus posted heat map breakdowns proving Topuria's path was algorithmically manufactured. Conspiracy threads tied Spanish tourism boards to hidden UFC sponsorships. Meanwhile, Dagestani loyalists spammed eagle emojis under every UFC tweet insisting an invisible hand had cheapened the crown. Hashtags Dagestan robbed and Matador mania traded hourly supremacy, but the real theater unfolded in the comment trenches. A single clip of Topuria's knockout replayed on loop beside a slideshow of Makhachev mauling Oliveira 18 months earlier. Tell me again how this is more impressive, one critic jabbed, racking up 50,000 likes. Counterpunch replies fired back screenshots of Charles's medical suspension. 90 days, no contact, captioned, "Ilia broke more than the rankings." Data-minded fans tried for calm, side-by-side resumes, strength of schedule graphs, even AI-generated fight simulations. None of it cooled the flame. Emotion screamed louder than spreadsheets, and algorithms adore emotion. Engagement soared, ad dollars followed, debate calcified into tribal allegiance. You either toasted the new king or demanded a rematch with reality. Yet even among the digital crossfire, a subtler ripple surfaced. Whispers that the UFC's secret objective was Spain, an untapped goldmine of EU pay-per-view revenue revenue, and Topuria was the Trojan horse. Whether that's marketing genius or sinister puppetry depends on where you sit. Still, keyboard soldiers are one thing, a dethroned monarch's entourage is another. Because when reputations forged in Dagestani wrestling halls feel publicly slighted, the response generally arrives with a velvet smile and an iron promise. And the first volley came faster than anyone expected. Ali Abdelaziz, part manager, part heat-seeking headline magnet, wasted 0 syllables. In a single post, photo collage, bullet point resume, he reminded everyone Islam Makhachev had stopped Volkanovski on a week's notice, strangled Charles Oliveira mid-streak, and spent more octagon minutes dominating than Topuria had spent inside the UFC, period. Caption, real kings don't need borrowed hype. It landed like a spinning back kick to the group chat. Behind that statement hit something spicier. Unofficial whispers that Makhachev would happily fight Ilia on Dagestani soil, Abu Dhabi sand, or Madison Square Garden ice, so long as featherweight gold was on the table too. Double champ dreams flickered in his fan base's eyes. Revenge narratives blossomed. Islam himself, he stayed almost spectral. 122nd Instagram story, silent sparring, casual smile, belt tossed over shoulder like a grocery bag. No callouts, no hashtags, just the timestamp and a location pin. Dubai. Media begged for quotes, but the champ ghosted the cycle, letting supporters flood timelines with gifs of him ragdolling past foes. His message was absence. Greatness doesn't scramble for camera time. That stoicism sharpened the debate. Was his silence dignified composure or quiet panic? Pundits split. Ariel Helwani argued Islam was playing chess. Let hype burn itself out. Meet him later when the buzz plateaus. Chael Sonnen barked the opposite. If you're number 2 on paper, you talk. That's the job. Behind the scenes, a rumor leaked. Bernabeu Stadium, 80,000 seats. Open roof, late summer date. Supposedly, Real Madrid's front office had already pinged Dana White's phone. Combine Islam's global Muslim following with a rising Spanish hero, and you get fireworks the UFC hasn't seen since McGregor crossed the Atlantic. But rumors alone don't sell stadiums. You need spectacle, storyline, and a crowd desperate for closure. And that's exactly what Spain began promising. Picture it. Sunset bleeding over Madrid. Flamenco guitars thumping through the PA. 80,000 throats chanting, Ilia! Ilia, while the Dagestani anthem rumbles from a rival corner. The vision hit social media like fresh oxygen on a campfire. Within 48 hours, Spanish newspapers claimed government officials had floated a 100 million tourism boost package to the UFC. Suddenly, every cafe in Alicante displayed Topuria posters beside Lionel Messi cutouts. Joe Rogan, who swore off international commentary after a jet-lag fiasco in 2014, announced on his podcast he'd walk barefoot across the ocean to call Islam versus Ilia at the Bernabeu. Spanish football pundits chimed in, comparing potential gate revenue to El Clasico numbers. Even Real Madrid's marketing wing teased a mock fight poster on TikTok, racking up 3 million views before the club deleted it due to contractual sensitivities. Skeptics raised eyebrows. Could Spain, a nation with no UFC history, really flip the logistical bill? Then leaked memos surfaced showing Movistar Plus willing to outbid BT Sport for exclusive European rights if the event landed on Iberian soil. Money silenced doubts. Still, undertones of controversy simmered. Dagestan loyalists cried foul, labeling Madrid hostile territory. Spanish outlets unearthed footage of Ilia waving a Georgian flag at a football derby, fueling nationalist intrigue. Meanwhile, Islam's camp floated Abu Dhabi as a safer, proven alternative, hinting that Topuria's cardio might prefer dry desert air to humid Spanish August nights. The location tug-of-war only amplified anticipation. Bernabeu or bust became a hashtag. Fans pledged to fly regardless. But as the future glittered in stadium lights, old, unhealed grudges crawled out from their shadows, threatening to hijack the narrative before any contract ink could dry. And the loudest grudge came wearing a Liverpudlian grin. Rewind to London, March 2022. A cramped hotel corridor, 2 entourage mobs, 1 errant bottle of hand sanitizer. Paddy Pimblett calls it Topuria's origin myth. Ilia calls it just another Tuesday. Security footage released, then mysteriously deleted, then resurrected as 480p legend, shows Pimblett flicking insults, Topuria launching over a suitcase, both men escorted out by frantic staff. The skirmish birthed the hand sanitizer boy meme, and if you ask Paddy, birthed Topuria's entire spotlight. Fast forward, Paddy's career plateaued while Ilia rocketed, yet Paddy continues the chorus. He was a nobody, I was somebody. Each time he repeats it, views spike. McGregor noticed the pattern and couldn't resist stirring the pot. Posting a 2016 DM, tiny text on a dim iPhone screen, Conor revealed young Ilia congratulating him after the Diaz rematch. "One day I'll be you." Conor's caption, "Dream big, kid," hit 9 million impressions. Inspiration for some, ammunition for skeptics who now claim Topuria mimics the McGregor blueprint minus the gift of gab. Meanwhile, shadow accounts leaked rumors of brutal early career weight cuts, spitting blood, collapsing in showers, stories never medically verified, yet sticky enough to trend. Has Ilia merely outgrown featherweight, or is he running from unsustainable cuts? Topuria's camp dismissed the gossip as fiction dreamed up by the jealous, threatening legal action. The ambiguity, of course, fanned hotter curiosity. Patty seized the moment, tweeting a selfie with a meat pie, bulking for when Matador finally stops ducking proper scousers. Replies ranged from crying laugh emojis to genuine calls for a 155-pound showdown on the Bernabeu undercard. Patty may be trolling, but trolls drive clicks and clicks drive cards. Yet, while nostalgia feuds ignite quick sparks, legacies demand elder testimony. The sport's legends were ready to render verdicts, some glowing, some damning, and their words carried heavyweight credibility, words that shook the hype machine even harder. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson broadcast his assessment from a Seattle basement. Topuria's a unicorn, explosive hips, granite chin, reads timing like he invented it. He predicted an undefeated exit before 30, drawing inevitable Khabib parallels. That alone jolted the market. Collectors flooded eBay for early career Topuria trading cards, flipping prices overnight. Chael Sonnen countered with trademark theater. A unicorn? Maybe, but let's not ignore the stable of Clydesdales willing to trample Flair. Still, he admitted the BMF belt should have been draped over Topuria's shoulder at UFC 317 just for shock value. Rajan ally Aquinta chimed in on Twitter Spaces, likening Ilia's calm violence to a horror movie antagonist. Picture Michael Myers but trilingual and better dressed. Yet Daniel Cormier anchored the conversation in physiology. "Show me Ilia after 12 straight minutes of Dagestani bodyweight," DC challenged. Clips resurfaced of Topuria's lone combat sambo appearance, a match he barely edged on points. Dagestan fans pounced. "See? He bleeds." Sponsors, on the other hand, saw gold. Adidas began teasing El Matador Noir, a blackout training boot. Netflix reportedly greenlit a 4-episode docuseries chronicling the road from Alicante sandlots to potential Bernabeu royalty. Money doesn't care who wins arguments, only who inspires rewatch value. Amid applause and skepticism, one question echoed. Could the quiet menace translate past round 3 at lightweight? That mystery crackled like a loose wire, energizing younger contenders who smelled weakness no highlight package could hide. They waited, watching film, believing destiny had left the back door unlatched. Because when legends speak, prospects listen, and sometimes they sharpen blades on every doubt uttered. Enter the generation that refuses to wait its turn. Topuria's prophecy list reads like Hollywood scripting. Contract by 23, belt before 27, pound for pound apex under 30. Each box is stamped with eerie precision. Old teammates swear he'd tape those deadlines to the heavy bag, tearing off pages each time a milestone fell. He doesn't predict, one coach whispered to Spanish radio, he schedules. Before Volkanovski, he openly declared second round KO right hand. At 3:49 of round 2, a right hook slumped Volk, and Topuria walked off already unwrapping gloves. Against Oliveira, he promised no sweat. Cage-side cameras caught him wiping a single bead the instant the doctor waved off the fight. Myth building? Maybe. Manifestation? Numbers won't argue. His routines invite further lore. Dawn begins with icy silence, literal ice bath, 6 minutes, no flinch. Mid-morning, 50 calf kicks on a concrete pillar to feel honest pain. Afternoon flight school teaches him barrel rolls, so fear becomes a hobby. Night ends reciting Spanish poetry. He claims verse steadies the pulse. The internet devours every ritual, turning discipline into spectacle.